Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, comrades all both home and the diaspora. This now the golden voice of the APC Encyclopedia, the Britannica, the socio-political analyst, the voice of the voiceless, the whistleblower, the lion of the social media, the regional publicity secretary, Southern Region, under the ticket of the mighty, indomitable All People's Congress Party. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, as you all know, say the encyclopedia media always stay for educate, inform, sensitize, conscientize, and raise awareness to the people of the Republic of Sierra Leone on daily happenings and on burning issues. Na Mama Salone. So when I stay tuned, when I stay fixed, when I stay blessed, when I stay connected to the encyclopedia media. For our listening pleasure is absolutely guaranteed. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, today, na December the 31st, 2024, we say au revoir, goodbye to 2024. We audio title today, where they talk about the precise definition of the word freedom. Freedom, not to a cheap commodity. Freedom, now the most expensive commodity na the world. Where dictators there, autocrats there, no one get to human being. So freedom means now the absence of coercion from constraint or restraint, seeing when necessary for action or for your own choice. Freedom now the state of being liberated from slavery or the power of others, vis-a-vis dictators, political tyrants, killers, or leaders them, way fierce in nature, we always want for subject them people into bad governance and political slavery. Freedom na the power or right for speak, the power for act, the power for change as one leg without hindrance or restraint. Freedom also often associated with liberty and autonomy, freedom of speech and expression, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. Freedom na the ability for act at your will, not under compulsion or restraint. Forget your personal right and liberty. Nobody not for enslave you or nobody not for confine you. This not the land of the free. But dictators then and autocrats, they always like for usurp the power of the people, usurp the freedom of the citizen, and rule them like slaves. Freedom, they deal with human rights. And we listeners thinking, well, no, within a human rights. Human rights, now rights they were inherent to all human beings, regardless of your race, regardless of your sex, your nationality, your ethnicity, your language, your religion, or any other status. Human rights they include the right to life and liberty, the freedom from slavery and torture, the freedom of opinion and expression, ladies and gentlemen, the right for let you work and the right for let you get education, and many more. Everybody entitled to their right here without discrimination. But in Sierra Leone, under the SLPP power, killers bureaucracy, are the opposite. The international human rights law they lay down the obligation of any government for act in certain ways then, or for let them refrain from certain acts then, in order for let them promote and protect human rights and the fundamental freedom of individuals there or groups. The foundation of them body of law, now the Charter of the United Nations and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, where they adopt by the General Assembly in 1945 to 1948, respectively. The declaration, then proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in Paris on 10 December 1948, by the General Assembly Resolution 217A to 3, as a common standard of achievement for all people there and for all nations. More so important, now civil and political rights. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and in first optional protocol, it entered into force in 1976. And the second optional protocol, it came into force in 1991, when the SLPP pauper bring 11 years brutal, bloody, deadly, nasty, and devastating rebel war in the Republic of Sierra Leone for the bloody desperation for political power. But ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, when I can say this, some people then can feel say no more na propaganda or na lie with the lie pan them people they are. But not to today, them people here begin destroy with liberty, destroy with freedom, destroy with peace and national cohesion na the Republic of Sierra Leone. The 11 years rebel war, we can destroy Sierra Leone. We send we backward to 30 years backwardness, and the SLPP can with the rebel war, not the Republic of Sierra Leone. When I listen to the testimony of the former president of Liberia, the former warlord of Liberia, when I just Dagbana Gange Taylor, where they give in testimony now the International Criminal Court about the rebel war na Salone and would that go na Mataba for count war can kill over 150,000 Sierra Leonean citizens in this country.
Clear. I did not seek any assistance from Ali Kaba. Ali Kaba did not seek any assistance from me. I said many did not seek any assistance from me or Ali Kaba and vice versa. We were not in a Mataba to ask to assist each other in what they wanted to do. We were there to exchange Pan-African jargons and talk about it, but at no time did I promise Ali Kaba or he promised me. At no time did I request from Ali Kaba any assistance, or at no time did Ali Kaba ask of any or for any assistance from me. At no time. Because Ali Kaba's own revolution, as far as he had explained it to me, Ali Kaba, who, by the way, if it were possible, we'll still bring him to this court because I think he's available, he's just frightened. Ali Kaba said to me that within the armed forces of Sierra Leone and the police and the other security apparatus, he had all of the assistance that he needed, and that the men he was training in Libya would return directly to Sierra Leone, and that upon the return from inside Sierra Leone, they will launch the revolution. So there was no request or nothing from him to me or from me to him. It was not necessary. It did not happen. There were no promises and could have never been. Clear.
So, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leonean comrades all, now the people then this own city, they then Baranta, they say they want to be flag bearer na the SLPP. When I listen to Charles Gange Taylor in testimony about how we get 11 years rebel war na Sierra Leone, when our SLPP Kawita, it don't tell when them people how they destroy this country. They don't count Bolate na this country, yeah, when I construct. Then count Hindu na this country, yeah. Then count Dogbo na this country, yeah. Then count Jongobla na this country, yeah. Then count Yamato na this country, yeah. Then count Boku thing them. We destroy with peace. We destroy with freedom na this country, yeah. Later, they go count 11 years rebel war for can't destroy Mama Salone. Now, the same people that they continue for destroy Sierra Leone till today. So, freedom, forget them from them people here. Nothing will not easy, but we'll get for fight for them.
Liberians were in that first group because you were not concerned and you were not permitted to associate with other groups. The only thing you knew that groups were there because you met their leaders almost on a daily basis, not in the camp, but in Tripoli.
Active in Tripoli, based in the same guest house.
Some were in the guest house, some were in hotels. Ali Kaba Kukuya Samba Sanje, myself, most of the West Africans that did not really stay there a whole lot used the Mataba guest house. There was an apartment in Tripoli that I used. Okay, but most of them, and I came to Mataba every day, and as is normal, and I'm sure the judges will understand it. You're from Mataba, of course you want to hang with West Africans. So at the Mataba, most times, Dr. Manny, Ali Kaba, myself will be together, conversing all of the time when I was there.
So what about Fode Sanko?
Fode Sanko was, I tell you, what I heard of Fode Sanko for the first time on the BBC. Fode Sanko was nothing. He was not at the Mataba. Fode Sanko was apparently one of Ali Kaba's men that were in the camp. Fode Sanko knew my men. I did not know Fode Sanko, just as Ali Kaba did not know my men. No, Fode Sanko was nowhere with the type of credentials to be a member of the Mataba. Because if he had to be a member of the Mataba, then it meant that Ali Kaba would not be there. And it was Ali Kaba there.
And Ali Kaba, that surname Kaba, who's he related to?
Well, I'm going to tell you what Ali told me. Ali Kaba told me that he had been a student, a Pan-African student activist at Frobe College in Sierra Leone. There were problems at Frobe. I think he got in trouble once or twice. Either got thrown out. And I want to be sure of this because again, in Africa, when you say uncle, father, brother, you have to be very careful. But Tijani Kaba, former President Tijani Kaba, Ali told me upon his retirement from the United Nations, where Tijani, I think, had risen to the rank of Under Secretary General, had retired, he sought to move Ali from Sierra Leone.
Who sought to move Ali?
I'm saying Tijani Kaba. Move Ali from Sierra Leone because of the problems he was experiencing, and a few other individuals from Frobe into Ghana and on to Libya, where this whole Pan-African thing was going on. And that's what I know about him.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the testimony. The Human Rights Committee, they monitor the implementation of the multilateral treaty and the optional protocol. The covenants, they deal with short rights there. Freedom of movement, equality before the law, the right to a fair trial, and the presumption of innocence. Freedom of thoughts, freedom of conscience and religion, freedom of opinion and expression, peaceful assembly, freedom of association, participation in public affairs and elections, the protections of minority rights. Ladies and gentlemen, it prohibits the arbitrary deportation of life. Ladies and gentlemen, human rights say they're not for torture nobody, or nobody not for receive a cruel or degrading treatment or punishment. Slavery and forced labor, arbitrary arrest or detention, arbitrary interference with person in privacy. But the power can then bulldoze this with a witch hunting cybercrime law. Then they hold Sierra Leonean citizens and then they torture them. They arrest people, they arbitrarily lock them. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom, not to think we easy forget. Then they come with war propaganda. All the while and a crime thing, whether people you don't commit with impunity. When I read what Chief Kaduru Kaikai threatened Sierra Leone, when a security threat to the country, say if he not get power 2028 in the couch rebel war, na Sierra Leone, we go be more disastrous than 11 years brutal, bloody, deadly, and nasty rebel war, na Sierra Leone. This is war propaganda, discrimination, Pauper come, violate all NTR. Fatima Bio come, he say, anybody will not belong to the SLPP killers political party, not to a true Sierra Leoneans. All they want they are, ladies and gentlemen. Then they treat other they as foreigner or as trashes. This statement is very, very discriminatory, ladies and gentlemen, and advocacy for racial or religious hatred. We they see the hatred messages there, where the people they do now this country here, where they do it fits them. Where other person talk, they say na incitement because the police, the military, and all state security apparatus, then they for protect the regime. Ladies and gentlemen, we get the same laws in the 1991 Sierra Leone National Constitution, but we get autocrats then today who don't respect the rule of law, we don't respect national law, and we don't respect international law. This is lawlessness to the highest degree. We don't see so many tortures. We don't see so many unlawful detention. We don't see so many extrajudicial killings. Then they bury citizens there in mass graves after they don't slaughter them. Then can they say they abolish the death penalty and replace them with genocide, extrajudicial killings, assassination, and strategic ethnic cleansing? Mama alone. Then people here say they not forgive the people of Sierra Leone peace and freedom. We see the ethnic cleansing, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leonean comrades all. We be see the international human rights, they all they document them here, the heinous crimes they are, we don't happen from 2018 to date when them people are kind of power. To the extent they go na Pandema Road maximum prison and massacre poor inmates them, poor prisoners them, where they in solitary confinement. Ladies and gentlemen, when both national and international laws they violate, they can impose bad laws on their own citizens then forcefully. They can strip off Sierra Leonean citizens their political rights then for vote in public elections and choose their own leaders. They can then conduct election, thief the election, declare themselves as winners without result. Ladies and gentlemen, when a gross violation of the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights of Citizens, they can sack the Auditor General unconstitutionally. Furthermore, let the able embezzle, then siphon, then bulldoze transparency and accountability for state resources then with taxpayers' money. We don't know any international grants then where they come for the people of Sierra Leone. Now again, they're not ready for impose the abortion law on the people of Sierra Leone without the consent of Sierra Leoneans. After they don't steal the election, now they carry it something for can restrict the movement of Sierra Leonean citizens on a forceful national identity card. When they say every Sierra Leonean for buy 150,000 leons by NCRA from the 1st of January 2025. Checkpoints then go day all over the nooks and crannies of Mama Salon for harass, for embarrass, for intimidate, and for ostracize the poor Sierra Leonean citizens then when they struggle for a meal for a day. While the disastrous 2024 Finance Act also then they can implement against the same poor people of Sierra Leone. So see how people then they seize the freedom of the people. Now make us say freedom, not to an easy tax, ladies and gentlemen. Today we citizens that they die because of poor medical facilities, no electricity, no pipe-borne water, no national cohesion, no job for the youth in the country. All the taxpayers' money, we don't know who side in the care and go. Ladies and gentlemen, but they continue for oppress the oppressed, for fulfill the bloated wage bill, robbing Peter to pay Paul, because they not get no international funding again. Now the voters of Sierra Leone, where they loot them, votes them, where they thief them, votes them, then they squeeze them for pay themselves for the stolen mandate. This is not a democracy, but now political slavery and a hell on earth the people of Sierra Leone take part. Then can they give you babu face, monkey face, and black face voter ID cards, ghost like voter ID cards to the people of Sierra Leone. Now they say Anybody will fail for pay the 150,000 leons for the national identity card, not to a Sierra Leonean, but would not qualify for vote in public elections and referenda than Mama Salone. The fundamental human rights and freedoms of the individual were enshrined in the 1991 Constitution, Section 15. We talk about the protection of right to life, Section 16, protection from arbitrary arrest or detention. Section 17, protection from freedom of movement, ladies and gentlemen. Section 18, subsection 1, they say no person shall be deprived of his freedom of movement. And for the purpose of this section, they said freedom means the right to move freely throughout Sierra Leone, the right to reside in any part of Sierra Leone, the right to enter or leave Sierra Leone, and immunity from expulsion from Sierra Leone. Now, the forceful NCRA national identity card is going to bastardize this and strip off Sierra Leonean citizens their rights where they get as Sierra Leonean citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, checkpoints they get for the all across the country. For let the police and the soldier then continue can do operation pay yourself. Because we then get for suppress citizens then. Then get for go they extort and exploit Sierra Leonean citizens then. Pull money in the hand. They not give them card. Their money then they will not know who side they go. So when a government don't fail, they're not able to pay their own workers them. Then they create a venue which side them people then they get money for enrich themselves. Now the trouble this back they come for the people of Sierra Leone through a stolen mandate. Today we poor citizens then, where democracy belong to, where now the constitutional mandate for votes as citizens for choose the leaders. This right here is no more. Ladies and gentlemen, that voter ID card not qualify you for being a Sierra Leonean citizen. Now only waiting they qualify you as power per se, now the national identity card. We get a forceful national identification number, what they call NIN, we NCRA, ECSL, and Statistics Sierra Leone use for delete over 250,000 voters from the voter list of the June 24, 2023 election and disenfranchise thousands of Sierra Leonean citizens. But according to the 1991 National Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Section 31, we talk about the registration of voters. It read, it says every citizen of Sierra Leone, being 18 years of age and above and of sound mind, shall have the right to vote and accordingly shall be entitled to be registered as a voter for the purposes of public elections and referenda. Ladies and gentlemen, now, would I get the right for votes? The Constitution says every citizen of Sierra Leone, and whether or not a citizen as somebody will belong to a particular community, a city, country, or state. So today with voter ID card, you are not qualified to be a citizen of Sierra Leone. Only the national identity card issued by NCRA with a forceful national identification number. Now, Sierra Leoneans, the ball is on your court. This is not the treatment where then they reward we today by corrupt political thieves, when extortion and exploitation for enrich themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, freedom as I tell you now, not to think we easy. Freedom all over the world. People then suffer for freedom. People then fight for freedom. People then lose job for freedom. People then go to jail for freedom. People then lost their life for freedom. Like the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, when an NAACP, when an interracial American organization, when they create for work for the abolition of segregation and discrimination in housing, education, employment, voting, and transportation, when opposed to racism and for ensure say African Americans then get their constitutional rights. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People in America then founded on February 12, 1909 in New York by 13 people then, were including W.E.B. Du Bois, Dubois, when a social reformer, Adabi Well, when a social reformer, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, and other people then, now they formed this organization. Abraham Lincoln, when the father of democracy, when the 16th president of United States of America from 1861 to 1865, na in your birthday, now they launch the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People na the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, we say democracy, na government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the United States of America, the former on the birthday of the 16th president of America, when Abraham Lincoln, the father of democracy. The NACCP be involved in many important legal cases, which include the Joint v. United States, when a 1915 case where they challenged voter restriction, the Buchanan v. Wiley, when a 1917 case where they challenged residential segregation against black, Moore v. Dempsey, when a 1923 case where they secure federal oversight of state criminal justice system. This came again, an association of white extremists. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom, not to think we easy forget. Because they don't form this National Association for the Advancement of Colored People in America, the bad people, they will not want to let black people then get freedom in America. The African Americans, therefore, let them get freedom. An association of white extremists, where we call them the Ku Klux Klan, where they formed in 1866, then come, pop, then stand against the NACP. When a white extremist groups them, where they against black freedom in America, where they call them the Ku Klux Klan, where they formed in 1866. The African American struggles a lot for fight for their constitutional rights in the United States of America. So freedom not to a cheap commodity. You get for fight for freedom. Those African Americans, we enjoy their rights there today. They're not been deep on the struggle. Where them people they been the struggle for their freedom, yeah. But because they may stand for the right cause, today African Americans they enjoy equal vote and equal rights and for own property in the United States of America. So, ladies and gentlemen, freedom need sacrifice. For other forget freedom, for other forget liberation. Now lives then they go. Now people then they go na jail. Now people then they lost life. So the NACCP accomplished many things there. We include for advocate for anti-lynching legislation in 1961, leading to the fight for civil rights legislation. We include the Civil Rights Act of 1957, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights of 1965, and the Fair Housing Act of 1968 establishes the crisis, encouraging black people for embrace the African heritage by the Boer. The NACCP mission now for eliminate racial discrimination and ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of all people in the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, so electoral justice and accountability now a fight we will for win. For a stop back, we hijacked, we capture and stolen democracy in the Republic of Sierra Leone. So kudos to Dr. Samura Kamara as the leading champion for the restoration of our stolen democracy in Mama Salone. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to be frustrated by cowards and political slaves. They're not going to take we so as political slaves for accept stolen election without seeing disaggregated data result for substantiate and authenticate the so-called cook-up and flawed election result. Ladies and gentlemen, as if we are neglected fools or brainless citizens, Sierra Leoneans then don't gain awareness. The people of Sierra Leone, they no longer be fools. They know their rights. They know everything. Now I make them stand behind Dr. Samra Matthew Wilson Kamara, for electoral justice and accountability. So the first African American president of the NAACP, Nabe James Weldon Johnson, will serve as executive secretary from 1920 to 1930, ladies and gentlemen. The first female president of the NAACP, Na Eniola Pettigene McWilliam, when a century of leadership. The first black man for give money to a woman, Na Palik Ubenzi, in 1825. The first African woman for become president, Na Ellen Joseph Sirleaf, born Ellen Egina Johnson on the 29th of October 1938, a Liberian politician, will serve as the 24th president of Liberia from 2006 to 2018, the first elected female head of state in Africa. The first billionaire, when an African American woman, Na Sheila Johnson. The first African American billionaire, Na Robert Johnson, will become a billionaire after selling in bet to a vacant in a $3 billion deal. Ladies and gentlemen, now because of freedom, make all entire happen. The first black woman will begin banking, ladies and gentlemen, na Maggie Lena Walker, when an important African woman leader, we broke unfair laws there and became the first black woman there for start a bank in the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, now the first black woman for be president of a bank. In bank they call her St. Luke Penny Savings Bank in Richmond. Who are the first African woman for run for president, Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm, now the first black woman for run for president in the United States of America. The first African American president, na Barack Hussein Obama in 2008. The richest black woman na the world, na Oprah Winfrey, we worth $2.8 billion. The Mo Ibrahim say na $1.1 billion. The first woman for make a $1 million, na Madam C. Walker, when one of the wealthiest businesswomen na America. Rihanna then declared her as billionaire by Forbes in 2021. The world first trillionaire na Elon Musk, we named the richest man in the world in January 2021. It started from 2020, we worth about $28.5 trillion. The richest black family in the world, Najetsu and Beyonce, with a worth $2.6 billion. The most richest African man in the history of Africa, Namansa Kankamusa of Mali, in his 17 years of reign in Mali. Ladies and gentlemen, and a long and extravagant pilgrimage we make in Mecca in 1324. The first female black CEO na Nigeria, na Cecilia Ibro, breaking new ground for women in finance in 1997. Ladies and gentlemen. So each African country will get a white president, na Scott. There's one in as vice president of the Republic of Zambia, where the capital city na Lusaka on the 29th September 2011. The first white Zambian leader since Zambia get independence. The first president in the world, and also the first president of the United States of America, now George Washington, from 1789 to 1797. The first African woman for win a Nobel Peace Prize, na Wangari Maathai. They born on April 1, 1940, na Nyeri, Kenya, Nairobi. He died September 25, 2011, na Nairobi. Na be a Kenya politician and an environmental activist, where they awarded the 2004 Nobel Prize for Peace. Who are the first black politician, na Hiram Rhodes Revel. Now the first African American for serve na the United States Congress with a moderate political orientation and oratorial skills. Ladies and gentlemen, whether na the richest woman na the world, na Francois Bentancourt Myers, wey worth $99.5 billion. The African first black billionaire na Patrice Rootsepp, South Africa, wey originally trained as a lawyer. The second president na the world na John Adams, wey na the second president of United States of America, July 4, 1826, he aged 90 years. Whether na the first born president, ladies and gentlemen, of United States of America, na President Van Buren, wey na the first president born American citizen. English na be him second language. Him first language na Dutch. He entered political life in 1812 after winning a seat in the state legislature. Whether na the first African queen, na Amina, the Queen of Zaria, na the first woman for rule over Nigeria, wey dem born her in 1533, na the city-state of Zazu. Ladies and gentlemen, all this na just entertainment. So we young people then, ladies and gentlemen, the first university na United States of America, na the Harvard College, wey dem found her in 1636. Na the first institution of higher education na the English colony before American independence in 1775 to 1776, when they do the Declaration of the American Independence. The first African American for go na Harvard Law School na George Louis Ruffin, December 16, 1834 to November 19, 1886. Na been an American barber, attorney, politician, and a judge. Who are the first African American for receive a PhD in psychology? Now Francis Summer, PhD. They refer her as the father of black psychology because now the first African American for receive a PhD degree in psychology. Who are the first president for invite an African American? Now President Theodore Roosevelt on October 16, 1901. Shortly, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Leoneans, after moving to White House, we invite in advisor when are the African American spokesman, when Booker T. Washington for dine with her and in family. This event it provoked outpouring of condemnation from the politicians then and the press of the American South then. So kudos to the one that will fight for black freedom in the world, the United States of America, where they overcome. Today, the dream of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. don't become an indelible ink in the United States of America. For he said, I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will one day sit together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. So we fight for electoral justice and accountability in the Democratic Republic of Sierra Leone. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, it's not about political party, it's not about tribe, it's not about region, it's not about religion, it's not about creed, it's not about status, it's not about color, but it is about laundering the battered image of the country. For let we restore trust and confidence to the citizenry, ladies and gentlemen, to the electoral management bodies for transparency, accountability, equity, equal rights, and justice for all people. So electoral justice and accountability, now a battle where we for win. It is about the soul of the country, the image of the country, and for build up a future, a better future for we children there. Yet we know say we go overcome. Ladies and gentlemen, then dangerous and disastrous political thieves they are and judicial People then, we today, they sneak the social justice of Sierra Leonean citizens. But deep in my heart, we know say we will overcome. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us we correct the past wrongs. We include military coups in Sierra Leone, constitutional coups, Dogwausu, Wenwe, Bolate, Hindo, Yamoto, Jungobla, Kamajo, Donso, Capra, Tamaboro, Rebel War, Blood Diamond, Draconian witch hunting laws, extrajudicial killings, strategic ethnic cleansing, political intolerance, political violence, fight against the tribalization, regionalization, and the politicization of a state independent democratic institution, and build a Sierra for all. Ladies and gentlemen, for now we live in a civilized society. Ladies and gentlemen, for all Sierra Leonean citizens, no more electoral coup, no more constitutional coup, no more military coup than the Republic of Sierra Leone. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leonean comrades all, both home and the diaspora. So we get the registration and the conduct of political parties there in section 35, subsection 4. They say no political party shall have a leader, a person who is not qualified to be elected as a member of parliament. This is the political ambush we Mother Biodon set. Why it they use the one the way they jump up and down, say they want be flag bearer for the APC come 2028, where the names they all in at the white paper of Ilapio. Some that indict them by the pauper witch hunting cover corruption commission. Behold the bell the cat, forget what he wants. Ladies and gentlemen, as soon as they legitimize in stolen election, they use the court against all the one day where they jump, where say they want to become flag bearer. But they tell una waiting all the All People's Congress Party today, now Dr. Samura Mati Wisin Kamara. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not to that, the APC for don't finish. They call the APC leadership, don't sell the party to BO. Thank God for the U.S. Sierra Leonean lawyer, when Elinor Thompson, we call on the National Civil Registration, NCRA, for provide free national identity card for Sierra Leonean citizens. He's saying that the constitutional right of all Sierra Leonean citizens, all the lawyers they will get, the NGFK and others, ladies and gentlemen, they all today don't go to slumber. Freedom, not to an easy thing. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he wants a music in his story. We sing We Shall Overcome. On the 31st March 1968, just 4 days before his assassination, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he delivered a speech at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., inspired by a previous sermon when he recited the part of the hymn, We Shall Overcome, to the interfaith congregation na Temple Israel, na Hollywood, California. The resonant line of the folk song, we say, ladies and gentlemen, it became the soundtrack of the struggle for African Americans then, where they struggle for independence, the downtrodden people for regain civil rights. Ladies and gentlemen, had been repeatedly in several times in sermons there for express not only a hope prediction or triumph, but the certainty that in the end, social justice, freedom go come to the blacks, the United States of America, when Africans, America. We shall overcome because the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. You know, I have joined hands so often with students and other behind jail bars, singing it, we shall overcome. Sometimes we have tears in our eyes when we join together to sing it, but we still decided to sing it, we shall overcome. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom. not to take it easy. Or before this victory is won, some will have to get thrown in jails. Ladies and gentlemen, some more, but we shall overcome. Don't worry about us before the victory is won. Some of us will lose job, but we shall overcome. Before the victory is won, even some will have to face physical death. But if physical death is the price some must pay to free their children from a permanent psychological death, then nothing shall be more redemptive. We shall overcome. Before the victory is won, some will be misunderstood and called bad names, dismissed as rabble rousers and agitators, but we shall overcome. And I tell you why we shall overcome. Because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. We shall overcome because Colin is right. No life can live forever. We shall overcome because William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth crushed to earth, we rise again. We shall overcome because James Russell Lovell is right. Truth forever to be scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future, and behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadows, keeping wealth and above his own. We shall overcome because the Bible is right. You shall reap whatever you sow. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome. Ladies and gentlemen, and with this faith, we will go out and join the council of despair and bring new light into the dark chambers of pessimism. And we'll be able to rise from the fatigue of despair to the buoyancy of hope. And this will be a great America. We will be the participant in making it so. And so, as I leave you this evening, I say, walk together. Children, didn't you get weary? Thomas Carlyle in 1795 to 1881 was a Scottish historian and an essayist. We quote from the French Revolution. William Cullen Bryant, 1794 to 1878, now been an American poet and a newspaper editor. We helped introduce European Romanticism into American poetry as an editor. We champion liberal causes there. Ladies and gentlemen, and strongly day against anti-slavery. Quote from the battlefields. James, James Russell Lovell, where Martin Luther King quotes by his speech, 1811 to 1891, now been an American romantic poet, a critic, editor, and a diplomat. We quote from the present crisis. These are the three prominent people then, where Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. used in quote. Today, how markets, ladies and gentlemen, people that don't get today freedom in the United States of America. So freedom now the power of right for speak and change from one in one without hindrance or restraint. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom and absence of undue restraint and restriction, the opportunity for exercise your right and your power. The three types of freedom, now life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Waiting at the five things of freedom: speech, religion, press, assembly, and the right to petition the government. The five guaranteed freedoms will make the people of the United States of America the freest in the world. Now then this: speech, religion, press, assembly, and the right to petition. Ladies and gentlemen, whose side freedom come from? Freedom come from an old English, lady, from freedom, where na a state of emancipation, liberty of free will. This word is composed of free or free, we indicate an exemption from something, and dom now a suffix in Old English where they indicate judgment or condemnation. So freedom na a word inherited from a Germanic earliest known use of the noun freedom, when an Old English period from 1150. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, where the father of freedom na Nelson Madiba Mandela. So, ladies and gentlemen, we get for stand for freedom because them people they are. From the political history of Sierra Leone, independent state to date, they no one give freedom to the people of Sierra Leone. But with Dr. Samora Kamara, we will get everlasting freedom na Sierra Leone. Where we begin there, go enjoy that freedom. Freedom, now an expensive gift. We not easy forget. We get for stand for them. We get for fight for freedom. We get for sacrifice for freedom. We get for lose life for freedom. People then get for go to jail for freedom. But when we get freedom, that everlasting freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, when I feel free and share, this now the golden voice of the APC Encyclopedia. Goodbye to 2024.